Hello and welcome to another one of my video tutorial series on creating mods for Starfield. My name is CrEaToXx and I'm a modder, or you can call me Cracked. I'm a mod creator, mod author, whatever you want to call it, on the currently Nexus Starfield. And yeah, today it's gonna be a long video again. But it's gonna be rich of content, I'm gonna promise you that. Because what I wanna do is present to you a hodgepodge or rackback of, I don't wanna say skills, because I'm not necessarily a skilled IT user, so I'm not a professional IT user. I learned my trades due to long history of dealing with computers and specifically modifying games. But, of course, you don't need to necessarily be professional in order to sometimes be enabled to do certain things. And what we are going to do today is, I want to share some of those traits that are essential, at least for me. Some people may disagree, that are essentials when you are creating mods, okay? So, we are going to cover the topic of the magic skill of tracing, okay? You're gonna see what that is. I'm gonna quickly introduce you in dealing with model hacks. I'm naming this a hack because it's not doing it decently, but I'm going to show you later exactly what I mean by that. Then we're going to I'm going to fill you in certain things in Xedit, and I'm going to show you as example creating icons in a texture program, namely GIMP with the DDS plugin. And then we're going to move over to scripting. So that's gonna be a long video, but this should serve as a combiner. How would you say that? Amalgamation? Is that the right word? Amalgamation? Yeah, an amalgamation of traits or knowledge or whatever you want to call it, skills, that you need to combine in order to be able to do whatever you want when modding games for Bethesda games, when creating mods for Bethesda games. And the first thing that we're going to start off is, as I said, the magical skill of tracing. And tracing, what does that mean? You have an idea, let's say, and I'm going to show that off by one of the mods that I've made. Overall, it's a build mod, right? Yes. And the adoring fan. Let's take the adoring fan because that's my most favorite thing to do. Here, you can see I've created this object for the workshop, okay? So you will have it in the workshop and still have an associated the resources. Yeah, we're going to go over that when we're at this point. So that's our example here, okay? The adoring fan is our example, and you start off, usually you would start off with an idea, okay, so I wasn't necessarily the one that had the idea for the adoring fan, it was Adiantino, or how he's named, or Dean Tento, I believe. He sent me a picture while I was creating a couple of mods, and we were talking on Discord about it, and I was basically importing toilets and showers and whatnot, all that stuff that you didn't have in the workshop in Starfield. I was importing that, and he said, come on, he sent me a picture of the adoring fan and said, come on, do a fan with a picture of the adoring fan slapped on the ventilator. So a specialized version of that. That's what he asked me to do. You know what, I'm going to turn off the sound here because it would overtone my microphone. Oh, it's not turned off for you, yeah. So, it's gonna be loud. Okay, maybe I can do this here. I hope it doesn't turn down the microphone. We'll see about that. Okay, so, and how did I do that? How did I find the reference? And that's the thing that's a skill that's called, or the trait that's called tracing. Okay, and how do you do it? I'm just going to show you off that in the workshop here. Oh yeah, and I'm actually using a custom workshop section, as you can see, CBM, if you look in the upper right corner. That's also gonna be topic of this video. And as I said, it's gonna be an amalgamation of skills or traits. And there you have the adoring fan. Okay, that's the adoring fan. And how do I got to that point that I was unable to build that thing? Okay, so and because you would usually start off and think, and I'm just going to recreate the whole way here. You would think, okay, let's do that like that. You just enter fan. Then you and I want to short that off here and say, I didn't found anything. I didn't found anything while using ventilator. Ventilator. I didn't found anything in that regard as well. Okay. Even though I wrote it wrong right now, I still didn't find. And long story short, that is inefficient. It does work sometimes that you are using the editor ID to find what you are searching for, but that's way too complicated in most cases, and there's a much more easy way. So, of course, so in that case, what I did was trying to find an instance of the fan that I wanted to create. And of course, I could use COC right now, which is center on cell or move to cell, whatever console command. But we're not going to do that because just walking there is just about the same amount of time, I think. And yeah. So I had to find a. Probably going to cut off the video here. I had to find a way to find a fan, and that's when I remembered. Okay, there's a fan in the well, the one that I specifically was searching for. Okay. So, and there we have the fan. So I just step on it, and I'm using a console command here now. Okay. Select target, and then you have it. Okay. So, and now you have another obstacle. It's presenting you with a dynamic created ID, and FF always means it's part of a procedural, pre-generated, dynamically generated ID, whatever. Okay. I don't want to go into detail what it means. Long story short, you cannot find it. If you use that ID, you cannot easily find it. And I found ways around it, but lucky me, we have access to a plugin, which I'm going to show you when I'm going out of the game. And you just use get ref info with that plugin, and then you get the base ID, which is 133802. Okay? So, get out of the game again. 133802. There you have it. AK fan wall unit. Okay? That's our base object. So, as I said, I want to show off Lara Run Kia. Is probably in here. That's the most easiest way right now. She should be. Oh, or he. I'm not even sure if it's a he or she. I think it's a she, just by the name of it, you know. There you go. Lara Kia. I think it's a girl. If you're not a girl, excuse me, I'm sorry. I just assume that you're a girl, okay? If you're not, excuse me. It's just something I guess, because the way you do mods. If not, I'm sorry. I didn't meant to offend you. So she, or let's say the person in that case, because I'm not sure. That's our last upload, but that will bring us to the actual thing that you would need that would make your life easier. So this creator, this author, mod author, has made the plugin that we need in our, and it's not linked. It was linked here. Why the fuck is it not linked here? Detailed reference info. There you go. So that 7589, okay, on the Nexus, that's what you need. Detailed reference info SFSE, and it gives you all the info you need, which you could not easily trace down without that plugin, okay? So that's what you want to download and install. It's very, very useful, and we had that in Fallout 4 and Skyrim as well. Only because of time it was more sophisticated, because you have to guess that Skyrim has like, I don't know, how many years of modding, 10 plus, and Fallout has like 5 or 6 or 7 plus years, and that's a good start, and things going to get improved, but that's what you need. So, and if you have that base, then you have that object, okay? That's your fan. And then you just do the classical copy as new record into your plugin file, and then it would end up, in my case, over here. Okay, that's the wall fan. And the problem is just, wait, let me, because that's another thing that you need to understand. What I had to do in order to make a full-fledged thing, because this doesn't come full-fledged here, okay? So you have to use the model path, architecture, city, Aquila, unique fans, okay? And then you extract the model. And that's only a thing that you're going to find out when you are tracing and you're building your mod. And then you would, because in, let's take Fallout as an example, there was a fan as well, or a ventilator as well. But it came in one piece, so you could easily just copy paste it and do your thing with it. That's not the case in Starfield here for that ventilator. Architecture, city, Aquila, unique. City, Aquila, unique, fans, aka fan, and we're gonna export all of it, okay? Because we need more than one piece of that, okay? So first I'm going to show you, and that's the actual reason that is porting us over to using NifSkope. And what was it again? Fan wall 01 unit. Fan wall 01 units, that's one. And because I was willy-nilly putting this into the game, and then I figured, oh wait, it doesn't have the blades, it doesn't have that, it doesn't have all the stuff that we need. Okay, see, no blade here. And it doesn't have a arm to attach against the wall. And I was just importing this thing into the game and figured, okay, it doesn't have that. So that's when I started exporting the model and review the model. And then I figured that it has blades, okay? So, and before we move on making the model, I showed you how I've traced that this is a thing that is what they are calling a pack-in. Or maybe I'm calling it wrong here, but that's what they call it. See, they have it in a pack-in or as object in outposts in, and we're going to go to the Aquila city. Okay, that's the object reference of that unit, of that fan unit. Okay, and it is part of the cell. Okay, and this cell is the actual. Oh, we're in the cell. We're in the cell already. Wait, let me just quickly figure out how you backtrace the cell. Because there is supposed to be a link that would easily bring you to the cell, because we are already in the cell, okay? And that's not a good example, yeah? But yeah, searching for another one, that's probably going to take too long. Wait, let me figure if I can do something else here. Either a form ID. I'm probably going to cut parts of the video today. What I'm trying to do is finding a pack-in cell that doesn't have so many references, you know, so that I can easily show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so we got it in the test cell, we got it in the quick test cell. There is one. And as you can see, this unit doesn't exist as one instance, as one object in the creation kit or in the files, okay? So because what they do, because of procedural generation, is they are doing cells, smaller parts of cells that they will put as layer over other cells, and all those smaller cells have already pre-built stuff in it, okay? That's how they procedurally generate stuff. What that means, long story short, is that they that the actual fan wall unit is made out of 3 different static objects that will be put together in a small cell, and that small cell will be layered over another big cell, like a world cell or whatever. Okay? So, and long story short, what I had to do, and I'm not going to show you that on going to show you that on my model that I created. I had to make a custom model here. And people sometimes name it a mashup. I'm not calling it mashup. It's just a customized, and as you can see, it has the photo, it has the arm, and it has the blade. Okay? How do you do that? So that's the tricky part now. How do you do that? And we take our example object here, the unit, and I'm just going to show you how to do that. for one instance, you have to fiddle around and learn by yourself, of course, because the video would take much too long if I show you everything that you need to do. But so basically, what you do is loading. Let's take that blade, that file, okay? Then you click on the node, and then you say copy the branch, and then you go to the node of your fan unit. Then you do paste branch, okay? And then it's down here, as you can see. And if we now close in, see? And it's funny enough, it's exactly in the place it's supposed to be, as you can see here. That's the blade that I just imported, and that's the original unit. And that's how you create custom mashups for models. All the armors you see on the Nexus, on the Starfield Nexus, like something like that, they're all made that way. Some of them are using NifSkope, others are using Blender, and of course that's just a very basic way of doing model mashups, because sometimes you can't get around doing things in Blender if it's about havoc and skin, skin, how do you name it when you switch a skin? You know, use one model for various different skins. And sometimes you need Blender for that, okay? So that's how you do it. That's all. That's the whole fucking magic that you need to do. You need to download NifSkope from. Make sure it has this, because if you go to the original NifSkope, you will not have the correct version. You need that version of NifSkope, 2.0-9. Mind the date, okay? It's released on September 23, 2023. That's what you need. There are other versions which you can use on the internet if you find them, and install that. As always, make a quick link to the to your file on the desktop. That's how you do that. And after you imported that specific node, yeah, and don't do the whole node. Don't copy the whole node. You don't need that. You only need those branches, okay? And if you get more experience and more advanced at one point, you can fiddle around what you can actually do, but that's for a beginner. That's already enough, because this tells you here, and this shows you here how to make custom model mashups, and you can already do a lot with that. Okay. So when you've done that, what you want to do is fix invalid block names and update all bounds. Okay, those two. And then you can save your file, and that's your custom model, okay? So, that was just an example. I just showed you an example. Now we're moving to our custom model again. Then you rename it, sanitize. As you can see, I've imported all of that stuff, and that is where my actual texture is sitting, okay? Where the adoring fan picture is sitting. And how do you get there? Because that's another thing that you're going to learn now. And textures are applied with material files, okay? And if we're going to search for material on the Nexus, and that has just been recently released. Where is it? Starfield Material Exporter, this one here, okay, by Maximus Maxi. Go to the tool section, Material Exporter, and it's a bit complicated to use, okay? Because you have to put in the BA2 file here, and then you have to put in the specific file that you want to export the material file from in here. But you can also export all of them at once. That's also an option. But for my use case, I only exported one material file. And those material files, you can simply edit with Notepad++. You see? Okay, that's your material file. And you can put them in the game as loose file. You don't need to recompile them or something like that, okay? They can exist as a loose file, as you can see here. And let's go back into it. You keep everything like it is. You're going to find out with experience and fiddling, the magic skill of fiddling, you know, remember what to do with all the stuff in here, with all the functions and instances. And there we go. That's our specific use case here. Data, textures, Mofakin. You just keep the same format as you have here as an example. And I just use _D because I was used to that in Fallout 4. But that is where my custom texture is defined. Okay? This is the place where it's happening. And then we go back, because that's the picture frame here. Okay, see, if you click on it, it's gonna be highlighted. Then there you have the material file. Okay, ES Lightning Shader property. And that's why you put in, and how do you know? Because if you go to other default files, you just mimic that, okay? And then you enter your path, and my path was materials is always, the data folder is always root, it's not displayed, and then all the under subfolders are presented. So it's materials, Mofakin, CPM during poster, okay? And here you go, here it is. Root folder, materials, Mofakin, there you have it, okay? That's the material file. That is where your texture file is in. And that's, how do you say, that's the communicator. Let's name it a communicator between the texture and the model file, because this file has the place of the texture as text inside and tells the model where the texture is. Okay, so if we're talking about textures here right now, what you can actually do, but for whatever reason it doesn't work for me, you can make it so that those textures are shown while you are editing in NifSkope. But I think those textures have to be exported for this. I think that's the case why it's not working for me. I have to fiddle around at it with it at one point because I want to see the textures here. Okay, so that's what you're doing. That's what you use NifSkope for. You can make your model mesh up here, and you can define custom textures which you put on your object. Okay, I think that's enough. Material, okay, and now we're going to go to the texture file, and there you have. That was originally a PNG, and I'm using GIMP for that. Okay, I'm using GIMP for that. You can use Photoshop, whatever you want, and I just kept it in that. I didn't even have to do, and all I had to do was giving it a transparent background, so I had to add an alpha channel, I believe. Or I don't even have to do this, okay? So for you, the important thing is you need a DDS plugin. You just go to Google and search for GIMP DDS plugin. And I think there's a updated version of it. I'm not sure where I've got it from, but I've got it from the internet, so that's what you want to download and install. And then you can export your image files, which can be JPEG, which can be a PNG, BMP, whatever comes to mind, or TIFF. Export them, and I'm just pressing here, and I exported it as DXT5. I'm not sure if that is correct, but I know from Fallout 4 and Skyrim that DXT5 is always reliably. It may not be the most performant, but it's always reliably working, okay? So that's how you do it. Textures goes into the material file goes into the model, and then you put it all in its correct places. Root folder, materials, mesh, or meshes, or whatever you name them, textures, okay? Understood? I think so. You can do it. So that's, and now I showed you how to do that things. Oh, and another mention that I want to show you here, tracing. How did I do that? Because you figured when I was tracing in-game, the ventilator, how do I do that? I'm using, as you can see, I'm also using a Stream Deck, which has a couple of preset keys here, and I just pressed select target, and what it does is executing select target PNR PMS 291. That's the shader, and that is a pick next reference. Okay, which for the actor it's always selecting the actor that's right in front of you, but for the next reference you sometimes have to press multiple times so that you will get the right instance. And then you open the console, and then you use get ref info or get reference info from the plugin that I showed you, and then you can start to trace. That's about concluding. Yeah, I think that's about concluding tracing, model mashup, material files, textures. Okay? And as always, I'm not going to go into detail. How do you make a texture? How do you make a model? How do you customize it? How do you customize a model? You just take a default model, rename it to your naming instance, and then you go in and mash it up. And if you are somewhat more skilled, you can go into Blender and do your own model. But we are not there yet, because I follow the discussions on Discord, and we are not 100% there yet, that we can do 100% custom models. Because the people that are doing that have run into a couple of issues, still running into issues, but they're on the job. they get things done. So at one point we're going to have that. So, however, that concludes tracing the textures, the material files, the NifSkope. How do you trace in Xedit? How do you use tracing in game? And that's how you build your custom stuff. Okay. So I had my wall fan, just copy pasted a static instance from the game, customize it, put my custom model path on here. Okay, kept everything in place. Use the custom snap template. That's also very easy to set up. Just you just press Control and then click, and then it will bring you to those specific form instances. And if you just press back on the mouse, you can move back and forward, and that way you can easily trace and find everything that you need. Then you put that snap template on your custom item, and then what's happening on outpost transform and the preview transform. Okay, and then you have to make a constructible object with the correct. You just apply your components, what you need to build it. You apply your correct keywording here. Okay, it's a custom keywording for me. Oh yeah, that was also a topic that I said. CBM outpost category CBM. That's the custom, because that was also a thing nobody knew was possible. Because there was a lot of controversies in the Discord discussions, and at one point someone showed up and said, no, we can't do it like we do it in Fallout 4. We can. And I believe I even showed that off in a GIF. We can totally have our custom keyword, outpost workshop keyword, okay? And just put the recipe filter type on it. Then you can have it in your custom constructible objects. And wait, let me see. I believe I imported that on. Yeah, let's go see the script. I'm gonna show you how I actually imported that into the game. CBM. Oh no, I need the source, of course. Build mod scripts source. So here we go. See, catalog keyword, catalog enable perk. So cat perk. There you go. Outpost categories, outpost follower camera. Okay, let's trace the ID. Then I can tell you what I'm actually doing. Oh wait, that was wrong. So, okay, so outpost recipe categories, that's a form list. Okay, that's a form list of all the workshop categories that you can have. And I do not recommend edit them directly in Xedit. Don't do that, because that will lead to conflicts. But you can do that via script. Okay, just let your users know that you imported them via script, and then you just get that form list with get form from file, and then you just add your keyword. And that's all you have to do, because you defined your keyword as a, where was it again? As a receipt filter, okay? And that's all you do. That's all you need to do in order to, and here I do it for enable category as well, which I'm probably calling from another place somewhere. Yeah, I'm doing it one time when I'm adding the perk that is dealing with all that stuff, and I'm doing it one time. I would need to enable. Oh yeah, okay. So when the perk is called, I'm doing it again, just as a failsafe. Okay, so that's how you do it. That's all you do. How to make a custom category, and then you put that custom category keyword on your objects, on your constructible objects. And now we're going to quickly go into the game, and I'm going to show all that off that we're talking about, that I was talking about right now. And then we're going to move on to the last instance of scripting, because we actually had a fallback here where we scripting is actually a little bit more sophisticated than everything else, because you basically just did edits and hacks to that point, but scripting is something that needs a little bit more sophistication. So, and here you go. We're in the workshop. See, as I said, upper right corner, my custom toilet, my custom shower, the custom shower ad, custom washing station, another custom toilet, air purifier, the wall fan, the adoring fan poster. Yeah, because an adoring fan wasn't enough. I also want to have a poster. Oh, look at that beautiful poster, man. And let's have a adoring fan besides it. And you know what? I'm gonna warp in the adoring fan here. He's in another outpost, but I'm gonna warp him in here. Adoring fan? Hey, look at you.
Thinking about
Look,
talking
please,
about
go there. You. Select actor. Here, you, come here. Move here. Thank you. Adoring fan.
yes,
Go
my
away.
acting.
You, I don't want you here. Adoring fan. You must come here. Yeah, exactly. Look at that. Adoring fan. You have to adore your picture with me while we are adoring the fan picture and the fan. Yeah, he's lying on the floor. Whatever. He doesn't want to. He's a bitch. So, great authority kiosk, vending machines. See, all with custom icons, and that's, oh yeah, that's also a thing that I wanted to address. All custom icons. Okay? All custom icons. And creating icons is a little bit stupid, because they are no longer using, they didn't connect the icons to the, like they did in previous games, to the model. They are working with static IDs. See? So, that's my icons. And you have to just recreate the path. How do you figure that out? You go into Starfield miscellaneous, I believe. No, it's interface. And then you will stumble across... was it even interface? No, it was textures interface. So, I believe texture pack 5. I'm not sure. You will stumble across the interface. Okay, it's not. Then it's maybe 6. No, it isn't. I'm not gonna search for it. You're going to stumble across, if you unpack textures, you will stumble across an interface folder, which has the workshop icons. So that's, you need to recreate that path, okay? You cannot place the icons anywhere else. That's the most important, that's the first important thing here to mention. So all your icons always need to be in textures, interface, workshop icons. And the second important thing here is all those files, once you applied the ID, need to have that CL here, okay? CL at the end. So, and how did I make that icons? Well, I basically just went into the game, made a Steam screenshot, then put that screenshot into GIMP, cut off all the edges, because if you go into GIMP, because you can see it also needs to be DDS format, cut off all the edges. And how do you do that? You select by color, and then you just use the slope element or free choosing whatever the English name is, right? And then you just go around here. You don't even need to be very detailed. You can be very detailed just to add a layer of professionality, but I didn't even do that, okay? So, because as you can see, there's still some pixels that aren't related to that specific icon object. And that's all you do. And then you export it as DDS DXT5 again, and then you have your icon. Okay, that's how you do it. But now comes the tricky part, because they are the icon, like we had it in Fallout 4, is no longer handled dynamically, so that it will be auto detected by your plugin. It's static. So you have to find out the ID. And 15324811. Let's choose a toilet here. It's in the building, it's a static, right? What was I saying? 811. Oh, it's actually really the moving. So there you go. It's 15324811. And usually, if you copy as new record, you would always end up with those 3 zeros. And then succeeding numbers, okay? And the first 2 numbers are the position and load order of your plugin, okay? So, but you want to customize. It's better to customize those numbers if you're dealing with icons to make the conflicting potential, to lower the conflicting potential. And how did I build those 3 numbers? Well, basically just CBM. So it's 3, 2, 4, and how the M? If you count to M, it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, A, L, M. It's 13, and 1 plus 3 is 4, so there you have 3, 2, 4. Okay? That's how you don't need to do that. That's just a way how I did it to keep it somewhat consistent. So, and that ID, 15324811, has to be the same as the icon, plus CL at the end. So your file has to be named 15324811cl.dds. Okay? In the correct folder structure. and model. I already got over that. Okay, and then you will have an icon. And what is the issue here? Obviously, the issue is if you, whenever you add more mods to your list and your the number is changed, then position of your plugin is changed. For example, if it would be if you add one more mod and it's loading before this mod, this number would change, and then the ID numbers of the icons are no longer true. Because you do not have any instance in the, I don't know how it's gonna be in the creation kit, but you do not have any instance in Xedit to address that topic. Like, you cannot add an icon file. Even though they have something like that here, they say inventory transform, main game UI transform, inventory icon transform. I was trying to use that, it doesn't work. It doesn't work, okay? So what I was expecting was that when you put in a specific transform and use that transform with that data that is needed on the outpost transform, it doesn't work. But I think that would be the position where you put in your custom transform, because that's the way it was working in Fallout 4. And that specific transform was mentioned in the model file or whatever it was. I can't even remember. I think it was in the model file in the model file directly, and then it was pointing to the icon file via that transform. Then the object in the editor knew exactly, okay, this icon is related to this object, independent of the position in your load order, okay? And that's no longer the case. That's I don't know if that's gonna be a problem once the CK is released. I hope that they're going to solve that. But if they don't, it's also not a problem, because in Minecraft they actually do it the same way and have it solved a little bit differently. And I think we're going to see that in Starfield as well. Because they are working with reflection data, they are using with procedural generation of objects in the world, and I think some of the things we've seen in past games will slightly change. But obviously, they have to change that icon issue, because there will be all sorts of conflicts if they don't solve that. Okay? So, but now we got it. We got tracing, textures, models, icons for objects, how to set up your objects in Xedit so that they will show up. And let me quickly see. How long do I record here? 45 minutes, yeah. Okay, so I was planning around half an hour. Yeah. I don't know if I want to go into scripting right now, because that's gonna fill another half an hour, and then we're totally overdue. And you know what? That's gonna be number 9. But I'm gonna promise I'm going to do it a little bit earlier than all the other videos. Okay? I'm gonna promise you that, because if I'm going to delve into scripting now, it's probably going to take an hour. So we're gonna make that a topic of the next video. And but I can give you a preview here, actually, okay? What we're going to do, because the next mod I'm planning, and I'm going to start working on it tomorrow, I think, is a Texas mod. General Texas. So, where do I get that script example from? I'm going to show you quickly. It's in just asterisk or star, whatever. Then you have the trades quest, and there you have the kit stuff. And if you ever took the kit stuff perk in the game, you know that you have to pay rent to your parents. That's the base for my Texas mod, okay? That's just, we're just going to go quickly over that script. That's the thing that I'm going to do, but the next time we're going to build this mod, okay? This Texas mod, which is making it so the player has to pay taxes if based on numbers of ship, which faction he's belonging to, followers want to have monies and stuff like that. So basically, I took the trade kits, the kits trade stuff as example script. It's gonna be placed on a quest, okay? And we're gonna start on the very low end. As you can see here, get hours until next Monday. That's a float function, means it is a mathematical function that will calculate the time based on game variables and return the actual time this function is calling for. So it defines a float property and self, and it's calling on this function. Okay, so it says hours until next Monday at 8 a.m. property is equal to calculate in that function and return what it is. And what does it do? So it utility get current time. That's an engine function. It counts the current time since the player started the game. I think, I'm not sure about that. If it actually counts, it's an integer or a float, whatever. It counts the moment you start the game. This starts moving forward, that timer, and that's just what it is calling, huh? And then it extracts the information from that function here. For week is math floor current day plus 7. Okay, that's the whole. That's the next week day, and then it will say the next Sunday, next week minus next week % 7. And then just +1, you have the Monday. And then next Monday at AM. And see, that's the thing that we can't know. That's all of that stuff here is auto-calculated, I'd say. But that's a number that you need to know or fiddle. Because you cannot know that you need that number to exactly get the position of this day. You know? How would you know that, okay? It's not P or something like that. That's a number that you need to know. Or you need to fiddle by using debug tracing or notification, then you know, okay, we're at this position, we're at that time position, and so on and so on. Okay? And that's what I'm doing. What I'm doing, I'm slightly redo that function here, and I'm not going to calculate for next Monday, but for the next day, for 3 days, for next week, and for once a month. That's what I need for my case, okay? So, there you go. Starts the kid stuff game timer. So they are using a timer game time, okay? And a timer is basically, how do you say what's a timer? So we have two types of timers. A normal timer that is using real life time as a timer, and on game timer, which is using the game time as timer. And basically what a timer does is you call the timer and enable it with that, and it's basically like a loop, I'd say. It's a loop. So you always, whenever you start the timer, wait, where's the timer start? Here, there you go. So he's calling the function when the quest is initializing, and see, so or on stage set, what a modder in my case is usually doing, because if you make a new mod, you have a quest, and if a user is installing that mod, on quest init is always true, because the mod didn't exist, and it doesn't matter if you start a new game or if you install the mod during an existing game. On quest init is always one time true. Okay, it is always one time true. The moment that you install the mod or you start a game, you start a completely new game. Then once it's initialized, that quest, it will never init again unless you stop it and restart it or reset it, you know? That's just a general information here. So on quest init, when you, let's say it like for you as a user, what would happen? On quest init would say, okay, the mod, the user has installed the mod. Please register for remote event on stage set. And then he's has registered for this stage set, which is executed by another function in another script somewhere in the game, or by a script fragment, a quest fragment or whatever. And once that stage is set, it will start the timer. So basically what I think is happening is when you take the, in the character creation menu, when you take that kit traits perk, it will execute that stage, okay? It will execute stage, whatever it is, 10 or 20, and then this this event becomes true, and then this will happen. Then it will start the game timer, and then it comes to the game timer. Then you have to start the game. That's the function where it's calling that one. Then this is the property where this function is called to define the actual weekly payout. Okay. And then he's starting the game timer, and then he's going to the on timer game time. And then you have to restart it, and that's the point where the loop is. If you do not put this in here, if that is gone from the script, it will come from there, come to the on timer game time event, and will not loop. Okay, so if you leave that one out, you would get the stage set. It would call the function. It would start the game timer. It would do its thing when the game timer is executed. And if you leave that out, it would not loop. That's over. That's basically no timer is working. The timer would actually keep on running in the background. Oh no, it actually wouldn't running in the background. So that's what you need to do when you have a timer. That's how you create a loop. If he gets to the on timer game time event, you reinitiate. Okay? And he's not directly, you can also do that here. Just say start timer game time 1 1. The last number is the ID, and that's the seconds. So if you had start timer 1 real life second and start timer game time, it's 1 game time second. You can also do that, but they have it calculated 1 in that function, and the timer ID is defined up here. It's 1, okay? So he calls it again, up, execute, comes to the event, calls it again, up, execute, comes to the event, and that's how you create the loop in a timer. The loop in a timer, okay? So, and then he's checking, does he still have the trade kit stuff perk? Because there are instances in the game where you can get rid. You can actually go to your parents, say, you know, I don't want to pay any more money to you. Fuck off. I don't want to anything have to do with you, anything at all. You know, and then this perk will be removed, and then this is no longer true. Okay. And let me just quickly check something here. See, because they also do. They don't stop the quest if you remove the perk, because you can do. Once you go to your parents in the game and say, I don't want that anymore, the perk will be removed, but the quest here is still running. It doesn't stop anywhere. I'm not sure if it's maybe stopped in the quest fragment. That could be totally be the case. I'm not sure. But that's what that thing is doing. Okay, and on every timed interval, in that case, it's every Monday, once a week, it will handle kit stuff timer, and then as you can see, it's defining the credits property, the player, get item count credits as form, how many money you have, gift percentage, that's a global value, the gift percentage, and the parental gift max, it's a global value that we have in Xedit. Okay, you can directly edit that number. I think that one is at 5%, and I modded it to 20%, and that number is usually 5,000, I believe, or 500, and I modded it to 50,000. All the properties defined, and then it says if the parent gift amount is greater than the parent gift max, then the gift amount is the same, okay? That just makes sure, for example, if you don't have the exact amount, if you, let's say your parents get 500 credits from you every week, so, and you only have 490 in your inventory, then the parental gift max kicks in and says, okay, he doesn't have 500, only take the percentile of that what he's having right now. That's what this if block is doing. So, and then we go to parental gift amount greater than 0, and then he's removing the credits. He's making the sound where it makes click, click, and the money goes away, and then he's sending the message, send 500 credits to the parents. Okay? Learn something? That's how script works. That's a little bit extended, but that's only a description. And we're going to code that. We're going to recode that so that we're not going to do it exactly the same way as you can see it, because I want to have a constant tax forced on the player for number of ships, number of dormitories, number of outposts, number of crew members, a general tax, and a faction-specific tax. That's what I want to import the game via many stages. If you are a member of the faction, and all of that stuff. That's what we're going to do here. And I think that's about it for today. I talked a lot, but yeah, then the video's topic today was showing you various traits, I name in traits, that you need to have, or that are that you will benefit from if you have them to create your own mods. Okay? So, however, we're in an hour now. I'm probably going to cut out some of the portions of the video because it's obviously long. So, next time we're going to go into scripting. I hope you learned something. Stay tuned for the next version. My name is CrEaToXx. I'm out. Thank you for watching.